I know a lot of people, such as us, we've had the challenge with trying to get our parents to be a little bit comfortable with what we're doing and maintaining that trust. But for a lot of others, maybe their parents are on board, but it becomes more challenging to know when not to sacrifice your morals because of peer pressure.
Of course.
Like peer pressure is something that I know so many young people, but also people in their 20s or 30s, like older people deal with as well. I remember the first time I ever had a drink or the first time I did anything that would be considered like taboo was because of peer pressure. It was because a friend or someone that I thought was like cooler than me was doing something that I thought I needed to fit in. So how do you manage like the friend aspect and the other creator aspect? Because you guys are doing lots of collaborations and we're at a place now in social media especially where you kind of have to push the boundaries, right?
Yeah,
a lot of people, in order to stand out and in order to get more engagement, they're wearing more revealing clothing or they're doing things that maybe they ordinarily like wouldn't do or put them in a certain light. How do you find the courage to be able to tell your friends and other popular creators, like, I don't feel comfortable with doing something like this?
It's happened a lot, actually. So luckily, I will say now, like, over the past year around, we've established an amazing friend group that completely understand, like, what we believe. And, you know, they don't push those boundaries. But earlier on, when we were trying to explain that to other friends that we just met in LA, it was a bit harder for them to grasp the idea of, like, just drinking in general or posting a video of like us kissing a guy. And it was like, no, we don't do that. You know what I mean? I remember there's one time where I filmed a video with a guy and I posted it and it was like a video of me getting close to kissing a guy, but me turning my head. And my mom called me right away, goes, this is disgusting. Like you would never post this, take it down. And I was like, you know what? Like, you're so right. I never really would have posted this. Like, that's not something that I would normally do. So that pressure did kind of, you know, influence at moments. But, you know, over time, we finally learned, like, we sit down and be like, we know that us a year and a half ago or 2 years ago wouldn't be happy with us posting this or want to or even feel comfortable doing it. So why do it now? So it came with time and we even learned. We made mistakes. We made like mistakes when it comes to filming and
like sharing what we should or what we shouldn't. Yeah. I feel like we both have found like the balance now of like what we should show online and what we shouldn't.
100%.
But like one thing that was so like hard because like before we moved to LA or everything like that, we like smoke hookah. Like that's something that's very cultural for us. Like we do it all the time. We do it with our family. Everyone knows we do it. But we never really showed it online until like the past year. Like we'd like show like us smoking hookah in the background. And so many comments are like, oh my God, the twins have changed. They smoke now. They're terrible examples. Like they've changed. The LA's changed them and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, I was actually doing it for like a really long time. I just never showed it on camera. But now I'm comfortable enough to do it and you think I changed. So then we're like, should we even show it anymore? Because like some people are just going to be really negative. But like we're both like, but we've been doing it for a long time. It's just like
it gets in your head.
It gets in your head.
Sometimes we both think like, have we changed?
I don't know.
And then like I'll start to sweat and get nervous, and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm such a bad person. I'm like, also with time, everyone grows as people. We're gonna change regardless, whether it's in a bad or good way. Like it happens.
I think Jay-Z said something like everyone was coming up to him saying, you've changed, and it's like I didn't become so successful to stay the same. People treat change as if it's a bad thing, but that's all a part of life.
Exactly.
What I think is really powerful though is that you were raised with these values, but it sounds like you didn't just keep them because it would make your parents happy. You kept them because you internalized them and you felt they were your values.
100%.
And I think that's really powerful because I think a lot of us, we grow up and we keep our parents' values our entire lives. Only to then feel like we're not who we want to be. But it's beautiful to see that you guys are like, oh no, we actually do agree with this
100%.
and we're going to hold on to it. I know, Aisha, you've been doing therapy.
Yes.
And you know, you've opened that world up. And Azra, you haven't, right? As far as I know, right. And so I wanted to understand, like, how does that work?
The changes are obvious, by the way. I'm just kidding.
Therapy? I'm like, I'll recommend you my therapist.
This is
It's very clear.
Aisha's intervention. We're bringing a therapist out.
I'm like, it's about time. She wants twin therapy. I get it now.
But I want to know how that works as a dynamic because, like you said, you've started to build different friendships. You've started to find your own identities and your own individuality. Therapy is a part of that, and you're starting to make these choices. How has therapy impacted your life? Where did it come from? Does she try and be your therapist sometimes? I mean, how do you react?
Does she tell you every day you need therapy?
Yes. Oh my God, I do. It's so bad.
She's that person.
I'm like, I have a good person for you. She's great. Something that I learned about myself and with my therapist kind of like reassuring it to me was like, it's not a problem to be quiet as a person. Like for a long time, I kind of was like, oh, it's a bad thing. But I've learned that like, that's me. Like there's nothing wrong with me. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like if I feel that way, like I have to be comfortable with the emotions that I'm feeling at times. I can't just like push it off or feel like it's wrong to be upset or this or that. So like I've learned that it's okay to have emotion and not be okay and accept that. This is a big thing for me. Like if there's something that's affecting me or a problem, it can seem like a small problem to someone, but it matters and it is an issue to me. So like, don't push it away. That's what my therapist was like saying a lot. Like if it's an issue to you and if someone else makes it seem like it's not, like that's their own problem. Like it matters.
Yeah.
Even small little problems, they matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.